Scotland end their losing streak with a great performance against Italy. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. Italy with some decent early attacks. Scotland, though, first of all, do well to turn a carry by Ostuni Minuzzi into a maul and then make it unplayable, turn it over. Then good defence from another attack forces a knock-on from Regioni. Italy, though they're looking dangerous with ball in hand early on, we then have a knock-on from Ostuni Minuzzi, and it gives Scotland a scrum in a decent position. We have some strong Italian defence, managed to drive them back out of their, the edge of the 22. Madia then gets pinged for no clear release as she goes after the ball, and Scotland decide to go to the corner. Scotland go through some phases. We have a lovely offload, which allows Macmillan to go over to score. Conversion hits the post. We're at 5-0 to Scotland. Gallagher then wins a penalty as she gets over the ball with Muso isolated. Scotland decide to go up the line from the penalty. The move breaks down with a forward pass. Scotland then pass goes to deck out wide. Regioni kicks it through. Looks like she's going, it's going out, but then Dinka gets to it and she kicks it on and back in field. And it's basically just before the try line, she gets there first and she stretches down to try and collect the ball to score, knocks the ball on over the line. Try line at her mercy really should have been a try there. And normally she's, pretty clinical with stuff like that, but just for that one instance, her skills let her down and it's a chance gone. Italy, though, from the scrum that Scotland get, they win a penalty and they decide to opt to scrum themselves. They then get over for a try just after that. Franco going in from close range. Solari converts this one. We're at 7-5. Italy lead. Then Ostuni Minuzzi knocks on at the restart and gives Scotland a scrum 10 metres out. It's, in rugby, always talk about, after you've scored, you've got to secure the restart, at least to make sure that you don't give the opposition an easy in. And that's exactly what Italy have just done. They've given Scotland easy territory, easy position. Scotland try to attack from the scrum, but the ball goes to ground and Tunese gets to first. Italy are able to clear. Scotland, though, to come back, they're camped on the Italy line. We have some good defence, is keeping them out, but they are conceding penalties, and Duca gets a yellow card. Scotland then go to the corner. They secure the line out and they drive it over the line. Skeldon at the back, she scores. Conversion is missed, but now 10-7, Scotland are back in front, and that was our halftime score. Into the second half then, Scotland on attack at the start, but then Fredrighi gets pinged for being off her feet. Basically, like the ball kind of spurted out of a ruck, and she dived on it, and she gets pinged for that. Scotland then decided to go up the line from there. Thomas gets stopped just short, and then Bartlett is able to burrow over to score. It's converted by Nelson, 17-7. Italy, they're trying to respond, but errors are stripping them of any kind of real momentum in the game. Franco then gets pinged for a late hit on Thompson. Scotland decide to go to the corner. They set the maul, and Bartlett gets her second try and a bonus point for Scotland. Nelson adds the extras, or at 24-7. Solari then gets over the ball and wins a penalty for Italy, and they decide to go to the corner. The line-out goes awry, and Scotland collect it, and then they clear, but then Italy shortly after that do finally muster a response. They're close to the line. Tunisi is, first of all, she goes for carry. She's driven back by, I think, 3 Scottish defenders, but then she gets up again and she goes again, and this time then she kind of does like a roll or a spin over the top of a challenge, is able to ground, is converted for 24-14. Italy then go quickly from a penalty. Baratine carries well and then puts Locatelli through a gap. Raleigh does well to get back, and she forces a knock on in the shadows of the post. It looked like, only for Raleigh's pace and good defence there, it looked like it was going to be a try. Scotland then are able to clear it from the scrum, but Ostuni Minuzzi, then she collects the ball. I was expecting her to knock it on the game that she's had, but no, she collects it in the breadbasket, then slaloms through the basically half the Scotland defence, like through the team, then offloads to Vicini, who goes over under the post, is converted for 24-21, and it really is game on at this stage. Then we have a good break from McGee, gets Scotland to the edge of the Italian 22. The pass goes to ground, and Italy hack it upfield. Then they win a penalty at the breakdown, and it looks like they've got a chance now to maybe go to the corner and get that try that could actually win them the game. But then we have a TMO check for head contact, and on the replays we see that Sarah Saya gets, she's basically tackling a Scottish player. She's upright in the tackle. It's shoulder to head. There's no change in direction or like a step or change in height. So no mitigation at all. It's a straight red for her. She's off. Italy down to 14 for the rest of the game. And then obviously the penalty now is to Scotland. And they kick the penalty to the corner, and they're looking to close out the game. Franco then comes in at the side of a maul, and Scotland get another penalty. They go to the corner again. They go close, but Italy are offside this time. So Scotland, another penalty, go back into the corner, and then this time the maul is able to drive over. Skeldon is the scorer. The conversion is missed. We're at 29-21. Italy again, they're trying to respond, but they're kind of forcing the play, and Tunisi knocks on. Scotland then win a penalty at the scrum, and there's a big roar from the pack. They really feel like, that could be the moment that really does seal the game for them. Scotland then, they win another scrum penalty a few minutes later, and basically that just snuffs out any chance of an Italian comeback. Final score is 29-21. Let's have a look at the stats then. Possession, 60% Scotland, 40% Italy. Territory, 57% to 43 in favour of Scotland. So I talked about before this game, both teams have had the minority of possession and territory in most of the games, and kind of wondering who's going to get on top and who's going to be more confident and comfortable with the ball in hand. It turns out it was Scotland in the end. Italy, we've seen them against Ireland have less possession and territory than this and still get a win. But today, when we look at other stuff, you see why they kind of found it difficult. Points per 22 visit, 4 for Scotland, 3 for Italy. Those are two good numbers to put up there. Italy in other games, that would have been enough to get them a win, given the number of visits they had to 22. Offloads then, 4 for Scotland and 8 for Italy. We've seen Italy's offloading game being really important for them in this Women's Six Nations. Started against France, doing it against Ireland. They got a great score where there was like 2 or 3 offloads in the build-up to the try. But today, the offloads didn't really have as much impact as they normally have done for them. Knock-ons then, this is a big one that I was talking about, why Italy kind of found it difficult. 1 for Scotland and 11 for Italy. Just so many mistakes, and a lot of them were kind of kicks through or passes in their own half where the pass was maybe wasn't that sympathetic, and then the player knocks it on. But not really great handling from them today, and we would kind of expect their given what they're shown in the other games, that it would be better for them today. But those knock-ons really killed them today. Scrum then 100% for Scotland, 67 for Italy. Scotland scrum, struggled for most of the tournament, but Italy were the team who had given away the most scrum penalties. So again, kind of before the game, I was wondering who's going to get on top of that. And turned out to be Scotland. Dominant tackles then, 6 for Scotland, 4 for Italy. Scotland really, the dominant tackles actually helped them a lot in terms of stopping any momentum that Italy were trying to build. In terms of how the two teams are going from here, like Scotland finally break that losing streak. They held off possible comebacks from Italy on a couple of times during the game as well. And then, crucially, they were able to stretch ahead as well. Each time that Italy got a score back, Scotland were able to respond with their own. But I think now they'll want to make it two in a row against Ireland next week. In terms of Italy then, errors really made it hard for them to get any real momentum in the game. Ostuni, Minuzzi, normally pretty solid at the back, but today she had a bit of a nightmare. Certainly a game that she will want to forget. Offloads then, as I said, not really sticking, whereas in other games they were coming off and they were creating scores or creating breaks. I do, expect them now before this, I expected them to be kind of in the shootout with Wales for third place overall, because it looked like that Italy and Wales were kind of a little bit of a step above Scotland and Ireland, but fair play to Scotland, they really have improved for this game and through the tournament as well. But now, Italy could finish fifth. It's possible they could finish sixth if Ireland beats Scotland, but I don't think that's, in terms of points difference and stuff, I don't think that's really going to happen for them. So fifth is probably the lowest they can finish, and third is the highest. But I think now they're going to have to regroup next week and try to finish this campaign on a high, because it has been overall positive for them.